I, a 31-year-old woman, have been married to my husband, 33, for 5 years, a journey that began after a 3-year courtship. Unlike my laid-back parents, my mother-in-law's persistent pressure for us to start a family has been a constant source of tension in our lives. Even during the early days of our relationship, she would often pester us about tying the knot, convinced that it was high time for her son to settle down. Once we exchanged vows, her focus shifted towards the next milestone, grandchildren. Despite our attempts to explain that we were not ready for parenthood, her relentless insistence continued unabated. It seemed her desire for grandchildren outweighed any consideration for our own wishes or circumstances. While my father-in-law sympathized with our predicament, he remained passive, unwilling to challenge her domineering attitude, leaving us feeling like pawns in her game. My husband valiantly attempted to reason with her, hoping to find some common ground, but his efforts fell on deaf ears. Her fixation on societal expectations and her desire to maintain a facade of familial perfection seemed to blind her to our individual needs and desires. The breaking point came during a recent family dinner at our home. As I busied myself in the kitchen, my mother-in-law seized the opportunity to once again broach the topic of fertility, bombarding me with unsolicited advice and anecdotes about herbal remedies. Frustration boiling over, I finally snapped, suggesting that perhaps she should redirect her focus towards her own reproductive endeavors rather than incessantly badgering us. To my surprise, my retort seemed to have struck a nerve. In the aftermath of our heated exchange, my mother-in-law noticeably refrained from bringing up the topic of grandchildren during subsequent visits. While her sudden silence provided some respite, her avoidance of me during family gatherings left me wondering if I had irreparably damaged our relationship. Despite the lingering uncertainty, I couldn't help but feel a sense of liberation. For the first time, I had stood up for myself, refusing to be steamrolled by my mother-in-law's incessant demands. While our confrontation had undoubtedly strained relations, it also served as a wake-up call, a reminder that my happiness and well-being mattered just as much as anyone else's. As we navigate the aftermath of our confrontation, I find myself cautiously optimistic about the future. While the road ahead may be fraught with challenges, I am determined to assert my autonomy and reclaim control over my own life, free from the suffocating expectations of others. And while the prospect of repairing my relationship with my mother-in-law remains uncertain, I take comfort in knowing that I am finally standing up for myself and refusing to be silenced any longer. That she and my father-in-law had decided to sell their house and move to a retirement community in Florida. My husband and I exchanged bewildered glances, unable to comprehend the sudden turn of events. My mother-in-law explained that they had been contemplating this decision for a while, wanting to downsize and enjoy their retirement years in a warmer climate. Shocked and speechless, we struggled to process the news, realizing that our plans of moving away from their constant presence had just been shattered. As my mother-in-law continued to outline their plans, my mind raced with a whirlwind of emotions. On one hand, there was a sense of relief knowing that we would soon be free from the constraints of living in such close proximity to them. However, this newfound freedom was tinged with a hint of sadness and uncertainty. Despite the challenges of dealing with her overbearing nature, my mother-in-law had been a constant presence in our lives, and the thought of her absence felt strangely disconcerting. As the evening wore on, we tried our best to mask our conflicting emotions and put on a brave face for my in-laws. We listened attentively as they discussed their future plans, offering words of encouragement and support despite the turmoil raging within us. Deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling of apprehension about what this sudden change would mean for our future. Once our guests had departed, my husband and I found ourselves grappling with the reality of our new circumstances. While the prospect of finally achieving the independence we had longed for was undeniably enticing, it also came with a sense of unease and uncertainty. The suddenness of my in-laws' decision had left us reeling, forcing us to confront the prospect of forging our own path without their constant presence looming over us. As we sat together, processing the events of the evening, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of guilt for harboring secret thoughts of relief at the news of their impending move. Despite the challenges we had faced, they were still family, and the thought of them embarking on a new chapter of their lives without us by their side filled me with a sense of melancholy. In the days that followed, We began the arduous task of preparing for our own relocation, grappling with the bittersweet reality of bidding farewell to the familiar comforts of our current home while eagerly anticipating the newfound freedom that awaited us. While the road ahead was fraught with uncertainty, one thing was clear: our lives were about to change in ways we had never imagined, and we were determined to embrace the journey, whatever it may bring. That her attempts to manipulate us had backfired. My husband and I stood united against her ultimatum, refusing to be held emotionally hostage by her demands for a grandchild. It was a liberating moment, realizing that her threats no longer held power over us, and that we were capable of standing on our own 2 feet without her financial support. As my mother-in-law stood there, stunned into silence by my unexpected outburst, I felt a surge of empowerment wash over me. For too long, we had allowed her to dictate the terms of our lives, bending to her will in an effort to placate her relentless demands. But now, faced with the prospect of losing her son's love and respect, she seemed to realize the gravity of her actions. In the tense moments that followed, my father-in-law intervened, attempting to defuse the situation and salvage what remained of the evening. But the damage had been done, and the rift between us and my mother-in-law seemed irreparable. Despite his efforts to smooth things over, it was clear that this would be a turning point in our relationship with her. As she left our home that night, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief mingled with sadness. While the prospect of finally breaking free from her oppressive influence was undeniably liberating, it also marked the end of an era, the end of any hope of reconciliation with my mother-in-law. In the days that followed, my husband and I focused on building our future together, free from the constraints of her expectations. We were determined to forge our own path, guided by our own values and aspirations, rather than bowing to the whims of others. And as we began the process of searching for our new home, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement for the possibilities that lay ahead. With my husband by my side, I knew that we were capable of weathering any storm, no matter how daunting the challenges may seem. As we embark on this new chapter of our lives, I am filled with gratitude for the strength and resilience that we have cultivated together. And while the road ahead may be uncertain, I am confident that we will emerge stronger and more united than ever before, ready to face whatever obstacles may come our way. The air in the room grew heavy with tension as we sat around the dinner table, anticipation mingling with apprehension. My mother-in-law's presence seemed to cast a shadow over what should have been a celebratory occasion. For years, she had been relentless in her pursuit of grandchildren, her incessant demands and expectations weighing heavily on our shoulders. Despite numerous attempts to explain our reasons for delaying parenthood, she remained steadfast in her desire for a grandchild, unwilling to accept our choices. As we prepared to share our long-awaited news, the atmosphere became charged with a sense of nervous anticipation. But before my husband and I could utter a word, my mother-in-law stood up, her expression stern and determined. What followed was an announcement that caught us completely off guard. With a steely resolve, she declared that she had made a decision regarding my husband's inheritance. In a chilling ultimatum, she laid out her terms: unless we produced a grandchild within the year, my husband would be cut off from his inheritance entirely. The weight of her words hung heavily in the air, casting a pall over the room. In that moment, I felt a surge of conflicting emotions: anger, frustration, and disbelief. How could she place such conditions on her own son's future? It was as if all the years of hard work and sacrifice had been reduced to nothing more than a bargaining chip in her quest for grandchildren. Yet, amidst the shock and dismay, there was a glimmer of clarity. My husband's recent promotion symbolized more than just professional success. It represented our liberation from the suffocating expectations of his parents. No longer were we bound by their whims and desires. No longer were we beholden to their approval or disapproval. Summoning every ounce of courage, I confronted my mother-in-law, refusing to let her manipulative tactics dictate our future. It was time to reclaim our autonomy, to assert our right to happiness on our own terms. In that moment, I realized that our worth was not defined by our ability to fulfill her expectations, but by the strength of our love and the resilience of our bond. As my mother-in-law's words echoed in the room, I made a decision to chart our own course, free from the constraints of her expectations. And as we watched them leave, their presence fading into the distance, I felt a sense of liberation wash over me. We were free to pursue our dreams and build a life that was truly our own, unencumbered by the weight of others' expectations. In that moment, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, with unwavering resolve and unbreakable unity. Absolutely. Let's delve deeper into the complexities of this situation. It's evident that the strained relationship with your mother-in-law is taking a toll on you emotionally, and understandably so. Family dynamics can be incredibly challenging to navigate, especially when there are deeply ingrained tensions and expectations at play. Firstly, it's crucial to acknowledge that you're not alone in feeling overwhelmed by this situation. Many individuals find themselves grappling with similar issues within their own families, where differing values, expectations, and personalities collide, leading to friction and discord. Your mother-in-law's relentless pressure for you and your husband to have a child is undoubtedly a source of immense stress and frustration. While her intentions may stem from a place of genuine desire for grandchildren, her approach is misguided and disrespectful of your autonomy as a couple. It's essential for her to understand that decisions about starting a family are deeply personal and should be made by you and your husband alone based on your readiness and circumstances. Furthermore, her decision to cut your husband out of her will as a means of coercion is not only manipulative but also deeply hurtful. Using financial leverage to manipulate family members into conforming to her wishes is unacceptable behavior and speaks volumes about her priorities and values. In response to her hurtful actions and words, it's entirely understandable that you reached a breaking point and confronted her. Setting boundaries and asserting your right to be treated with respect and dignity is essential for maintaining your mental and emotional well-being. However, it's also essential to approach these interactions with empathy and understanding, recognizing that underlying her behavior may be her own insecurities and fears. Moving forward, it may be beneficial to engage in open and honest communication with your husband about your feelings and concerns regarding his parents. Together, you can establish clear boundaries and develop strategies for dealing with future conflicts in a constructive manner. Additionally, seeking support from a therapist or counselor can provide you with valuable insights and coping mechanisms for navigating challenging family dynamics. Ultimately, while repairing the relationship with your mother-in-law may be desirable, it's essential to prioritize your own well-being and the health of your marriage above all else. Remember that you are not responsible for her actions or emotions, and it's okay to prioritize your own needs and boundaries in this situation. By focusing on fostering a strong and supportive relationship with your husband and nurturing your own emotional resilience, you can navigate this challenging situation with grace and integrity. About her behavior, but he never did. He emphasized that he couldn't continue living under the shadow of his mother's expectations and manipulations, and he needed to prioritize his own happiness and well-being. It's evident that your husband has reached a breaking point after enduring years of emotional manipulation and neglect from his parents. His decision to sever ties with them is a brave and necessary step towards reclaiming his autonomy and building a healthier, more fulfilling life for himself. While it's natural to feel conflicted about cutting off family ties, especially with parents, it's essential to prioritize your own mental and emotional health above all else. Toxic relationships can have a detrimental impact on your well-being, and sometimes distancing yourself is the healthiest option. Your mother-in-law's persistent attempts to deflect blame onto you serve as a stark reminder of her unwillingness to accept responsibility for her actions. It's evident that she's reluctant to confront the role she played in driving her son away, opting instead to pin the blame on you as an easy target. However, it's crucial to recognize that you bear no responsibility for your husband's decision to distance himself from her, nor should you feel burdened by the task of repairing their fractured relationship. As you and your husband embark on this exciting new chapter of your lives, it's imperative to prioritize the health and strength of your own relationship. Surround yourselves with supportive individuals who uplift and empower you, fostering a positive environment that nurtures your emotional well-being. Moving forward, continue to assert your boundaries confidently and unapologetically. You have every right to prioritize your own happiness and peace of mind, even if it means creating distance from toxic family members. Trust in the resilience of your relationship with your husband to navigate any challenges that may arise, and remain steadfast in your commitment to building a fulfilling and harmonious life together. The intricate interplay between you, your husband, and your mother-in-law has woven a complex tapestry of emotions and tensions within your family dynamic. At the heart of this complexity lies a stark contrast between your upbringing, characterized by a sense of autonomy and individual choice, and your mother-in-law's unwavering adherence to traditional societal expectations, particularly concerning marriage and parenthood. Amidst this backdrop, your father-in-law's passive acquiescence serves as a silent enabler, allowing your mother-in-law's domineering disposition to reign unchecked. Consequently, your boundaries and desires are consistently sidelined in favor of her relentless pursuit of societal validation and image maintenance. The confrontation during the dinner was not merely a spontaneous outburst but rather the culmination of years of simmering frustration and exasperation. While your response may have appeared abrupt, it was a manifestation of the deep-seated resentment accumulated over time in response to your mother-in-law's relentless pressure and disregard for your autonomy. Subsequently, her retaliatory actions, such as removing your husband from her will and coercing you both into conforming to her expectations regarding childbirth, serve as a testament to her manipulative tendencies and her willingness to sacrifice familial harmony for the sake of her own desires. In navigating this turbulent terrain, it is imperative to remain steadfast in upholding your boundaries and asserting your autonomy. While reconciliation may seem desirable, it cannot come at the expense of your mental and emotional well-being. Thus, as you embark on this journey, prioritize the cultivation of a supportive and nurturing environment for yourself and your husband, free from the stifling influence of external expectations and manipulative behaviors. The recent promotion your husband received should have been a cause for celebration, but instead, it was overshadowed by your mother-in-law's ultimatum. Her attempt to exert control through financial manipulation is a clear indication of her inability to respect your autonomy and boundaries. The confrontation between your husband and his mother highlights the deeply entrenched issues within their relationship. Her emotional outburst and efforts to guilt-trip him into staying reveal the extent of her manipulation and control tactics. Moving forward, it's imperative to prioritize your well-being and establish firm boundaries with your mother-in-law. While it's natural to feel empathy towards her, it's essential to recognize that her behavior is toxic and cannot be tolerated. Your husband's decision to sever ties with his mother may be challenging, but it's necessary for his mental and emotional health. Surround yourselves with supportive individuals who respect your decisions and continue to prioritize your happiness and autonomy above all else. This chapter may be difficult, but it's an opportunity to create a healthier and more fulfilling future for yourselves. First and foremost, let me extend my heartfelt congratulations to you on your pregnancy. The news of expecting a baby is undoubtedly one of life's greatest joys, and it's incredibly heartening to hear that you and your husband are embarking on this beautiful journey together, especially after the challenges you faced recently. Your resilience and positivity shine through as you navigate through the complexities of family dynamics, particularly concerning your relationship with your mother-in-law. Despite the turmoil, your excitement about this new chapter in your life is palpable, and it's evident that you're both deeply committed to creating a nurturing and loving environment for your growing family. The decision to distance yourselves from your in-laws, particularly your mother-in-law, is a testament to your unwavering dedication to safeguarding your well-being and that of your unborn child. It's crucial to prioritize your mental and emotional health during this transformative time, and setting firm boundaries with toxic influences is a commendable step toward achieving that. Your husband's unwavering support and understanding are truly commendable. His willingness to stand by your side and take decisive action in protecting your family unit demonstrates a deep sense of responsibility and love. Together, you make a formidable team, united in your determination to shield your child from any negativity and provide them with a nurturing and secure upbringing. The prospect of starting afresh in a new home, away from the shadow of your in-laws, is undoubtedly exciting. It symbolizes a fresh start, a chance to build a sanctuary where you can fully immerse yourselves in the joys of parenthood without any external interference. Your proactive approach to ensuring privacy and tranquility for your family speaks volumes about your commitment to creating a harmonious environment for your child to thrive. As you embark on this remarkable journey into parenthood, may you be blessed with an abundance of love, happiness, and cherished moments. Your resilience in the face of adversity and your unwavering dedication to your family's well-being are truly admirable qualities that will undoubtedly serve you well as you welcome your little one into the world. Here's to the exciting adventures that lie ahead and the boundless love that will fill your hearts as you embark on this incredible chapter of parenthood. Wishing you all the best as you eagerly await the arrival of your precious bundle of joy.